Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It's Monday morning. We'll do our 4-hour sweep here. Let's see what's above us, what's below us, what are we looking at for the week. Let's just go ahead and get right into it. We'll start with Bitcoin. Nothing really to say. Nothing really to say here. It's already sold off. We're just talking about this. Probably sold off because Elon said they were selling at Tesla. I think Sailors Out said that they were stopping purchases after acquiring like 152,000 Bitcoin or something stupid. So we're at that part of the cycle where we know that we're stepping down in structure. It's definitely not a good long-term investment right now. It's also not a good short entry right now. We've been dead for just so long, dead for months, and it just stepped down and now we're dead again. It's probably not a good idea to mess with it either way, kind of right in the middle of this density. It's just not it to day trade. We all know that. We all know what happens here right before the halving. We all know what's going to happen. So we won't spend a lot of time on that. Moving on, US dollar. What's going on with the dollar index here? So we've been tracking this coming off of a lower low in structure. This isn't, important here. We made a lower low here. So we've made a big, nice, strong move all the way up back to a previous high, just structure wise, just in its simplest form. Let's take a look at structure, see what we're looking at. What probability wise, what's likely to happen? I believe that we're starting the 7th week to the upside here. If you look at the weekly candle, been 7 weeks straight up on the dollar index. It's getting pretty juicy here. Got some higher time frame levels. Probably need to clean up the chart a little bit. It's kind of what we do here on Monday morning anyway. What are we looking at this week? What's the highest probability move? Remember, we just closed our 6th week to the upside. Is it going to break the high and expand? Is it going to be a range expansion where we come from a lower low to a higher high? That's going to be the big question here. Got an alert set at a level here for a reason, and we'll see if that gets hit today. If this ends up poking up here, probably going to be starting to sell into the dollar. Again, this is starting the 7th week to the upside. So, hey, good morning, Usman. What's going on, man? Good morning. Just looking at, see where we're at. Going to record the YouTube video. We'll see what's up here on the high. Once we get there, as far as today is concerned, this is kind of the same thing from last week. It just kind of feels like we're in this distribution on a high, like we're just in this kind of range up here, and eventually, who knows? Like I said, we're starting our 7th week to the upside on the weekly chart. It's getting interesting up here, kind of co-equal highs, probably coming off of a lower low. This is looking pretty dangerous for the dollar here. So let's see what happens this week. It's looking pretty dangerous right now. At the moment, it's not necessarily a short. It just kind of feels like it's going to be in a range, and we'll see. I got an alert up here, higher on a broken high. Then we'll probably start looking at stuff on the dollar. Kind of makes sense. Below us, there's some density back in here. We'll watch that. I think what's likely is that we poke up a little bit higher first and then sell off. Just looking at the 4-hour chart, it's probably going to be time to start looking at getting short on the dollar on the high of the week this week. If we can break this, previous high from last week, then maybe we'll start to look at that, because this is really just getting kind of crazy here. We're coming off of a broken low. It's had to travel a very far distance to get up there. So this could be really good for things like euro dollar, pound dollar, gold. We'll be trading gold based off of this, I'm sure, later. Hold on one second. Here's the voice already. All right, so we'll take a look at this. It's really not much to mark up here other than, anything on the downside. There's going to be a whole, there's a whole sliding zone down here that we'll have to be watching. It's a structural shift here where we're top of a consolidation, and then it held. So we'll look at this stuff on the way down, but as of right now, it's not necessarily a short at the moment. It feels like a distribution on the high. We'll see if it breaks the high, and if it does, maybe we'll get some entries there. Maybe euro dollar or gold or stuff will be on the low of the day. If the dollar will pop up here today, we'll see. Moving on, just quick analysis today. We'll just move through it. We don't need to spend an hour doing this. Sometimes it works out that way. Yen. I've been watching this yen for sure. We've been all over this. We had an epic trade last week, epic basket on the yen last week. So that was good. Right now, this is looking, you got a little morning star action right here. Looks good. Got to pull back. I mean, wow, you're getting a discount on it right now. We're going to need to take a look at this. We do have liquidity below that little consolidation there. It's already tapped into that. This is lower time frame stuff. Technically, on a 4-hour chart, it's like this. It's refined down on the lower time frames, and we were watching structure here. There's some structural stuff that we look at. But look at the yen right now. I mean, it's not terrible here. I mean, you got this morning star kind of price action with the pullback. This candle may close significantly different than it is right now, and you got a lot of stuff up here. I mean, there's this, again, a whole sliding zone up here of selling that you could refine down into its, sellers on the top, buyers on the bottom kind of situation. Our effective trading range is something like this, and we're near the bottom of it with some interesting price action. It is a higher low. And we watch these structural changes here where we go from lower lows to equal lows to higher lows. I mean, this is exactly what we watch. I mean, this is how a range is formed. There's a structural range here, and it's, if you look across here, loosely, you can see what I mean. It's really just a range consolidation but we're possibly coming off of a higher low here. So we need to pay attention to this. As of right now, it's not a short on the yen. We'll see how this candle closes. This will be a critical candle. We may be trading the yen here today. Probably need to take a look at that because this not necessarily bad price action. And you would assume that this is going to be higher, at least at some point. Moving through. We need to stop and take a trade there. We'll do that. Hey, good morning, guys. Good morning. Just flipping through the 4 hours, and we'll post up our analysis video just to see just our initial analysis, preliminary look, what's above us, what's below us, what are we looking for this week, and then we'll take it from there on actual strategy stuff, lower time frames. Right here, I got this kind of situation going on. You know how we look at our ranges. We can see that we're right in the middle, want to stay out of the middle. Just can kind of see this range consolidation happening. Now, that being said, we were just talking about the dollar. Euro dollar is going to be the inverse of that, at least as a trading instrument. As the euro goes one way, the dollar index generally goes the other because of the weighting, the 57% weighting in the dollar index. So looks like we're going to be in a range consolidation here. If this were to dip down a little bit lower, might look at buying into this. We're down. If the dollar index is up for 7 weeks, this is going to be down for 7 weeks, most likely. So, but if we look at our weekly candles, you'll see it just down, down, down for 7 weeks. And we're opening the week on Monday on the low, on a lower low, basically. So we're going to be watching this. Any kind of little dippy do into here, and might be looking to get long on euro dollar. So we'll watch the euro. It's actually the second strongest currency right now this morning, anecdotally. So stronger than the dollar even. So this could be a potential long here. We're waiting for some little dip to get a better entry. Anything in here, I would say at or below that level, we'll start looking at that for a higher low. And if it breaks the low, definitely getting in it. So we'll watch this stuff. Try to lightly mark up the charts here. There's just really not much to do here, but wait for this to go up. Euro dollar. So we'll watch that. Euro pound. Good game here. This must have been something from last week we were watching that never got hit. We can kind of refine some of these levels. We'll do that as the market starts to move. Just simply put, right here, you can see where your sellers were correct and have not been stopped out at break even. They're starting to get hit now. So there's going to be some form of liquidity here, mostly at break even stops. Shorts that were correct, anything up here at the structural level, probably going to have a structural inflection point right here. So I'm going to watch this too. The euro has been up relative to the pound. It's been up for a while. So Yeah, maybe we'll watch this. I mean, if this pops the high or something, we'll see. It's not necessarily a great trade right now. It's kind of filling this wick off that previous candle, would have been the open, Sunday open. So, I don't know. We'll watch this. I mean, it's just kind of, there's a lot of selling up here. Nothing, not really the greatest trade at the moment. We'll take a look at it in a little bit. Right now, the yen stuff is going to be interesting. Caught some really good trades here, obviously, over the last couple of weeks. We killed this, last week. Just crushed it. It stopped early. It stopped down here, but it made sense. There's a block of price down here. Dipped just below it, actually. Technically, it's, something like this with the dip through the buyers, barely. Boing, there it goes on the way back up. So now it's running. Just as far as something like that, we'll watch for that to see if that gets broken. But it's already a higher low, so that may be an interesting point anywhere in here, and we'll watch it as it comes back into here. There's going to be a bunch of levels down here. There's a whole bunch of little inflection points right here that are going to likely have some kind of reaction. So we'll watch all this stuff on the way down. Right now, it's up on the high. It's already rejected a couple times. It's just not really the best spot. I mean, we got kind of money above the consolidation here, and it did tap just above that level. Spike through it. That's generally what happens. Spike through and come back down. We'll watch this. We're going to watch the yen with this. There may be some other yen pairs that could be better, but there's a pretty good chance that this is going to make, at some point in here, a lower high and pull back down. If you look at the movement of the yen as an index, the yen as an index is likely to be bullish, which is going to be a big headwind for this right here. So we'll take a look at it later. But we would probably, on euro yen this week, we would probably weight our bias to the downside as it looks right now. So we're just going through, getting a preliminary look at what do we think may happen this week. How should we weight our bias? What's going on here? Euro Aussie. I know this is really high. It's been high for a long time. It's big up on a big higher high. Yeah, we watch this one every week. It's up on a big higher high. All the New Zealand dollar pairs too. So as of right now, this looks like just a range like this in its simplest form. Sellers on the top, buyers on the bottom. So we're obviously not buying this right now. That being said, it's likely to be a distribution range. It's just not the best entry at the moment. Aussie's weak, Euro's strong, so kind of makes sense that this is high at the moment, but it's also coming into a bunch of sellers. I mean, there's a lot of activity up here at the top of a range, at least lower time frames. So we'll watch this, but other than that, yeah, I mean, I think the question is going to be, is this going to try to retest the high or not? Not a lot of information yet. Just stuff all over the place. I hear a truck cranking up out there. Yeah, so not a lot here. Got a hurricane coming this week too. It's like coming right for us. I'm right on the northwest side of Tampa. So 9 miles from the coast, like the northwest side of Tampa. So it's like apparently this Idalia or whatever it is coming directly for us this week. It's supposed to be here, I believe Wednesday around London session. So I think they said 2 a.m. Wednesday morning. So we'll try to get some trading done here before, just in case the power goes out, and I'll still be available. But just in case the power goes out, last time we got really lucky. Last year with that crazy hurricane that destroyed like Port Charlotte and all that. We got lucky with that one. But apparently there's one coming. It's not going to be as strong, but we do have a hurricane coming like directly at us, which is, it normally doesn't hit us on the Gulf West side of Florida, but there's one coming straight up for us. So I don't know. We'll see. So try to get some trading in done before that. Euro Kiwi, again, very high. It's up on a higher high in structure. We've got a lot of good trades on this lately. Just monster moves here. Had the high, wish we would have held that. 800 pips. God. Then we caught the bottom. Caught it short again. But right now, this is up on a big higher high in structure, and it's kind of grinding higher. This kind of stuff is not really great. If you want to do the traditional charting thing, which I don't do anymore, but it's not great to see that angled grind pulling up like that. That stuff tends to resolve to the downside to break a low. So we'll be looking for that transition here to see. It's either going to break the high or, not, right? May come up here and distribute and pull back. That could easily happen, so we'll see what happens here. It's not a good entry long right this second. Skip it for now. There's no levels above or below us that we need to worry about at the moment. Again, we're just trying to set up our charts, see if anything's changed since last week. See what we're looking at above us and below us, and then we'll run the range strategy on lower time frames. So do that. That's going to be a thing. We'll leave that there. That never got resolved. So, just kind of in between these ranges. We'll be looking for reversals in these levels, or on a broken low. There's a major level down here, obviously. Euro Swiss has kind of been a turd. I don't really trade it much, but the Swiss franc, all the Swiss franc pairs have been really weird volatility. So we'll come back for this. We'll come back for this in a little bit. There may be a trade here coming, but just not right this second. Interesting here. EuroCAD, a lot of selling on the top. Again, just running through our charts to see what we're looking at on above us and below us. Recording it. We'll post it up for YouTube and for people who have missed the initial analysis in the morning on Wednesday. Sometimes we do it at the end of the day on a Friday. Sometimes we'll do it on Monday. What is all this? Oh, yeah, big, huge range there. So it's just, buyers have held the market and have not been stopped out yet. We'll watch that spot. And then, play the rest of the strategy on lower time frames, just trying to look and see, are there any major levels where there's likely to be a big reaction? We got money up here that's never been resolved. Interesting. Yeah, right now EuroCAD looks like it's having a hard time getting through there. The euro is strong, but we'll wait and see what happens here. Probably not a good trade at the moment. I could see this poking higher and then rejecting again. It's also Monday, so we'll see. Let's see here. Pound CAD. This one hasn't been too great lately. It's been really choppy and messy. We caught some really good trades here. It's been messy. I don't know what all this stuff is. Some of this is a lower time frame stuff. Just levels that we're watching for reactions, just so we know on lower time frames when it gets there. But yeah, there's going to be, you could see the selling going on up here. Below it, we would just be waiting. I don't know. Nothing here. It's kind of consolidating. Same situation. There's just structural inflection point right there where we had a consolidation above that turned. It's looking like it's kind of ranging right here. My guess is that eventually this is going to end up lower, but it's not a good short right this second. I could see like a little pop up here and then just maybe not go very, very far. Look at it in a little bit. Just looking to see, is there anything that we see that just makes sense that needs to be dealt with now? This is a possibility. We're definitely watching the dollar. Hold on 1 second. Let me get over here. Aussie dollar looked like a potential entry coming. Just off topic. It was holding the bottom of the opening range on the range tool. Looks like it's going to be a long here. Just off topic, if you're looking for something, watch Aussie dollar for a minute while we're finished up. We'll run through this as quickly as we can. Pound dollar, it's the same kind of situation. It's just a range consolidation, and you can see where the sellers and buyers are kicking in. We stay out of the middle. Don't diddle in the middle. We'll see what happens. Looking for a lower low or a higher high, something at a range higher low. And we'll watch how we get confluence on a range tool here. So we'll figure that out in a little bit. Yeah. So right now, this kind of looks like this could potentially, I mean, there's a bullish case to be made here. There is a bull case to be made here that this could be just the bottom of a range and we could just easily pop up for a day trade. Pound dollar may be a thing. Watch that. It's funny because the dollar looks bullish, but some of the pairs against the dollar look like they may be going up soon. So we need to watch the dollar probably. Pound yen. You know, we've talked about the yen being a really good opportunity right now. We really caught a great trade here the other day on this. 280 pips, just crushed it. Zero drawdown. It was just perfect. But you can kind of see the structural play here happening. It's likely just a larger range that's split into a couple pieces. You see structurally, you can see your inflection point here, you know, where, you know, one range has become another. Basically, it's stepped up a level, come back, test, nothing, hasn't broken yet. So really what's going on here, there's one way to look at this is to say, look, this is probably just a range consolidation and we're closer to the low than to the high, but we want to get a better entry if we're looking to go long. Yeah, I mean, I guess you could make a case for something like this and we'll watch it on lower time frames. We'll wait and see what happens. There's also some selling here that's held, looks like lower time frame stuff. You're going to have clearly selling up here. Yeah, so, you know, just laying out what we're going to be looking at so we know any alerts that need to get set, we'll set those up. So we're probably at the bottom of a range here. It's just not really, I mean, there's a case to be made here too. I mean, you can see the structural split here. You know, we look at stuff. So we look at the market cycle and see the cycle. You know, this may not be the best trade at the moment. However, if this were to dip down any lower, maybe we'll take a look at it and see how that lines up with our range tool. Skip that. But pound yen is probably going to end up being a short. As of right now, we're kind of coming off the top of the range. And again, we need to watch the yen. Eventually, this is going to be a short, and we'll see how we act inside of this range. The yen is very low, and if the yen as an index, as a currency index, starts to lift up off the low, this is going to have some downside to it. Now, whether or not the pound outperforms the euro relative to the Aussie, you know, that kind of stuff, we'll figure that out. Yeah, we'll try to figure that stuff out. Boy, Mr. Slithery's way up the mountain. Lol. So, God, we caught this too. I mean, we had this in here. Pound Aussie, pound Kiwi from 2 weeks ago. We were in up here on the actual high, and I mean, it's just hundreds of pips. I mean, we had it right. It's still high. We've just had this right. Like, we've caught this thing every single time it breaks the high, we catch it. So, you know, I don't have it marked here, but, you know, we caught it again. This was a struggle, though. This one, it took a couple days, but this was a perfect exercise in, you know, trusting the process, and sometimes you just got to wait. There's such thing as being right too early. You know, I actually rewatched The Big Short over the weekend. The whole movie is about being right too early. Literally, you know, Michael Burry was correct, but he was correct early and it was painful. And we talk about that lesson a lot in trading, how there is such a thing as being right too early. But, you know, we kind of same thing here. You know, we got in short early and had to sit through just pain and anguish, and then boom, hundreds of pips. So ridiculous. Right now it's in a range. Same thing. It's just, whoops, it's consolidating. Wrong tool. And you can see here, this range consolidation. If you split this, how we look at this, start to see it a different way. Buyers on the bottom, sellers on the top. It's likely stepping down in structure anyway. If this were to pop up, you'd probably be looking to, yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We'll watch it. It is very high, and who knows if this is going to make it all the way back up here. We'll shoot for the top end of that block right here. This situation right here. Shoot for the top end of it. Gosh, I mean, there's just so much going on here on the way down. There's so much on the way down that you would be looking at just layered zones on the way down of places that are likely to have a reaction. That's probably a previous center. So, it wouldn't really be looking to go mega long until down there. We'll see how that lines up with our range. Yeah, we'll see if this pops up a little bit. Just in its simplest form, the high of this range, we'll watch it here. And then anything below that, geez. Yeah, it's just tight right now. I want to watch this though, because there could be a great trade there. Almost done. Getting through it. Just do our Monday morning analysis real quick. Try to figure it out. This never hit last week. We were looking to get long there. That never hit. Somewhere around here, even if it barely broke the low, but somewhere around that level. Never hit. Pound Kiwi, same situation as Pound Aussie, basically. I guess we could refine this down to something like that. Just a bunch of buyers and sellers. We're just watching where those are going to kick in. Come on, ads. Right now, it's just in the middle of a range consolidation. Probably not the best entry. What would we be looking at here this week? So, we'll wait. Right now, we're in a consolidation. We'll make a decision when we get above us or below us at a point, either a broken high or in the buyers and sellers. I can probably refine this down just a little bit. Try to figure out what's going on there. We'll wait for that. Looks good. Let's see, Aussie dollar. Again, in its simplest form, and we could get a little deeper into strategy stuff. We'll do that on lower time frames. Like there's stuff back here that we were watching. Aussie dollar, just definitely interested in this, given where the dollar is. Remember, the dollar is up for 7 weeks. We just entered our 7th week to the upside on the dollar in a row. So this kind of stuff is getting super juicy, honestly. These Aussie dollar, we've been watching this for a while, and it's just not really going anywhere. It's not going down anymore. But, we're a couple weeks into this at this point. Just kind of accumulation on the low. So we'll watch any kind of lower lows or any kind of retest of any levels. And there's just, again, layered zones down here where we should probably be looking for some kind of reaction. Then on the top end, it shouldn't take much to get there. Probably within range. Yeah, it's definitely within our weekly range to run up. Gosh, yeah, could be another small weekly candle here, but anything lower, and we'll look at this. Got an alert set down here. Looks like something from last week. If it breaks the low, then cool. We'll want to know about it. We'll wait for this to drop. If the dollar is going to pump, we'll try to time all this with the dollar index. I have a feeling this is going to be a good trading week. Only thing I'm worried about is if the power goes out like Wednesday and Thursday. I don't know. It depends on if this thing is going to hit us or not. This stupid hurricane. I don't know. It's coming very close. So we're like actually in the cone of uncertainty or whatever they call it, where it's like basically a direct hit. If it does what they say it's going to do, it's going to hit us, which is, it's not going to like destroy anything. Like it's not going to knock the house down or anything. It's just, the power shuts off a lot. It's just like the power will be off for 24 hours and won't be able to stream. So I'm hoping that doesn't happen. And it'll be available on my phone either way. On Discord, hopefully. The power's out. I won't have much else to do. So we'll see. Hopefully not. That's what I'm worried about, is that I have a short week trading here. I'm going to try to do the best we can this week early, just in case. So We'll look at this on the way down. This again, just setting our charts up. See, what are we going to be looking at? Where's the money? Where's the reaction? Where's the reaction likely to be? And we'll play it, as we come. Gosh, I mean, there's this whole block right there. Let's see. Come on. All right, so we'll watch that when that gets back up on the high. Actually, I could probably refine that down a little bit and see that. All right, so yeah, something like that. Just so we know what we're looking at. Below that, I'm not going to worry about that. So we'll just watch this for potential entry points. So basically, we set our charts up and we wait. And we strike accurately. And that's probably the best thing to do. Sometimes you just got to wait. It's 99% waiting, 1% trading. Say it all the time. It's true. Yeah, that's what the game is. It's 99% waiting, 1% trading. Most of the time, you're waiting for a level to hit. You already know what you're going to do a week ahead of time, and you're just literally waiting for something to happen. It's just like we come in here Monday morning and, we already figure out where we're going to make our decisions within an hour, and we're like, okay, well, let's wait. Let's wait and see what's going to happen. So let's see. God, all this stuff, weekly projected highs up there. Be waiting for that potentially. Yeah, I don't know. We'll watch this. Aussie CAD, I'm interested in this for sure, but I'm going to need to see more out of it. That ended up being invalidated, so there's something that's invalid. Aussie Swiss, definitely watching this one. Gosh, very interested in this pair. This one is kind of in a class all by itself. I mean, and I'm going to remind everyone that these are 4-hour candles. So just keep this in mind. These are 4-hour candles, and this is getting pretty juicy down here. This thing has been just decimated because of the Swiss franc has been just on one for the last couple months. So just absolutely ridiculous opportunity here. As of right now, we're holding a higher low. If this were to break this low, it's like you start backing the truck up. As of right now, we're going to watch these little inflection points and see how it reacts. We have infinity to the upside. We're trying to figure out how to get in long on this without getting wrecked. How do we get long without getting stopped out? So we're going to watch there's a lot of stuff to look at here on Aussie Swiss. Very interesting opportunity. Yeah. I would keep this on your radar because of where it is. Look at it on higher time frames and it'll make sense. Moving on. Second, take a sip of my coffee. See if we can run through this analysis, and then we'll see if we can find some trades. All right. So CAD Yen, been watching this one, keep catching it. It's very, very high. It has been for a very long time. Just as far as structure is concerned, I mean, we're way up and just struggling up here. We've been up for a long time, months and months and months, and just equal highs up here. It's back on the high. The yen is back on the low is really part of it. The majority of it. I know what all this is. Lower time frame stuff. Watching the money there. We keep catching this. Keep catching some very accurate shorts on this. We might be back to it. I mean, if it barely pops that high, I mean, you got a whole sliding zone here. We just haven't defeated this level yet. You can, it's just very clean, highs and lows of the range. Clean range consolidations. We'll watch this at the moment. Yeah, it may not be the best idea at the moment. We'll come back to this, but again, there may be a trade here. And we'll watch levels on the way down. We're really looking for the levels on the high that are going to be a good entry. I mean, we're probably within range to, how far away is that? Yeah. God, we're within a weekly range to run back up to the high. If it were to break the actual high, like we would be looking to sell the high of the week. If it breaks this high up here, we're back in the truck up on the high of the week. That being said, this is really looking, it's really looking like it's weakening here. I mean, you can see this kind of almost transitioning to a rollover to higher, just marginally higher highs to equal highs. It's not great. See what happens here. I mean, if this pops up, then we'll take a look at it on the high again. Maybe look to sell the high of the day. Every high of the day that's above a previous high, we'll take a look at that. And I mean projected high, not the actual highs. What our projected highs are on the range tool. We'll take a look at that. So, got the cheat codes. Just got to manage our risk. So trading is a risk management game. We already got the cheat codes. We already understand potential entries and exits. It's a risk management game. How close can we get to a big enough position that's not a lot of risk to be able to sit through whatever noise the market's going to give you? That is the game. It's a risk management game. Trading actually has very little to do with entries, to be honest. It's about how you make your money on your exit. The entry doesn't matter nearly as much as the management and the exit. The entry does not matter as much as the management and the exit. You can manage your way into a profitable position from a random entry. So it's an important thing to understand. Dollar CAD next. I kind of got some equal highs up here. This has been just a mess. It's just a big, huge range. But the dollar has been weird too. But you can see the move on the dollar. We're entering our 7th week to the upside on the dollar itself, the US dollar. And we're on the high. This is going to look similar to the dollar index. We'll see when it gets up here if it's going to do something like that. I don't really expect a big move out of this week. It feels like we're going to have a range consolidation right here. This kind of crap going on. So we'll wait for this to pop up. If the dollar pumps, we'll be probably looking to sell the high of the day, high of the week kind of thing. We'll skip that for now. I don't know why that's marked. 1 second. There goes the voice already. Swiss yen. Okay, this is one we've definitely been watching. All-time high. This is on its all-time high. The price has never been higher than this. Literally the all-time high. Every week it seems like. So as of last week, we keep selling the all-time high and it goes down a little bit. We take some profit and it goes up again. So we're waiting for the yen to stop. The Swiss franc has been on just a rampage, and the yen has been on a rampage to the downside. And this has been a synergy, like a perfect storm kind of scenario for this to go up, and it just won't stop. You got to really go back a long way to kind of understand how high this actually is. You got to zoom out to like a weekly chart to see it. This is insane what Swiss yen has done. It's got a good range too. It's like 100 something pips. Yeah, 114 pips daily range average. So, we're watching this one. There's a lot of potential here. Right as of right now, you can see what's going on. Now, if you want to play the structural range game, you can kind of see what's just loosely under, you can see what's going on here. Range consolidation popped up to another range consolidation. We're not necessarily on the high of it yet. Any broken highs here, we're going to be looking for, we're looking for lower highs at this point. As this has started to slow down, you can see this starting to slow down. You have higher highs, and then all of a sudden you kind of get equal highs, and eventually it's going to make a lower high and sell off pretty sharply. So we're watching for lower highs on this. There's a really good opportunity on Swiss yen. This is one that we need to pay attention to. Get rid of all this crap. Great trade on that last time, but we're looking for another one. So there's just going to be a whole thing here. These kind of things like to spike through there and then sell off. So we'll watch this level just to know that it's coming. I guess it doesn't have to be super perfect. A lot of times there'll be a reaction. You can see right here, it already rejected there once, and sometimes it'll poke just through it and then sell off. And we'll really just infinity to the downside. There's really no level other than through the floor. Hundreds of pips on the short if we can catch it. We'll watch this week too. See if we're going to actually break the high or not. It's within range to do it. We'll see if it actually makes a new high or if it makes a lower high. And if this starts to make a lower high, we want to get short back to the bottom of the range. We'll come back for that. It's going to be a good trade. Again, just initial analysis here, just a preliminary look, a non-biased look at the market. Just take a look at the market and with no bias, and just objective look with no bias. See what we're looking for. That's already kind of bounced right there. We'll say that there's clear buyers in there. It's obvious. We're already rejecting here too. So yeah, I don't know if we're going to poke through this level or not, but other than that, we would be looking to break the swing high. Got a swing high right here on whatever this is, S&P. Been trading these a lot lately, our indices. It's been where the action's at. So, at least this last week or two, this has actually started to move a little bit. So as of right now, really messy price action. This is pretty terrible. Just very grindy move, choppy mess. It would have been difficult to get in a trade here and stay in it. Obviously, because of that spike. I think that might have been Powell the other day. Something. Yeah, I mean, just imagine getting in anything here last week and then just getting taken out on the highs and the lows. So not really much you can do there. Grindy move, that kind of stuff is pretty damaging to your account. This is devastating to your equity. These kinds of candles like this will just knock you out on both sides. Doesn't matter whether you're long or short, you probably got taken out. So we'll watch this. You got a big swing high up here. I'm sure it's within range. Yeah, it's within range to break the high up there. It is a higher low, technically. Technically, this is a higher low. It's just, this was a news pop here. I think Friday when Powell started speaking, basically said that everything sucks and we're nowhere near 2% inflation target and things have to get worse before they get better, and expect worse, basically is what he said. People are going to have to get fired in order to curb inflation. And when people get fired, they stop spending money in the economy, and it's just not looking great going into 2024. Basically no change. He said a bunch of filler, a bunch of blah, blah, blah. It's the same message. Nowhere near 2% inflation target. Don't expect it anytime soon. Some of the estimates are 2031 before it would even be possible to get back to 2%. So, put that in your book and think about it. So, looking to break the swing high here on the S&P. The market's long hair don't care in the market, kind of. So this is really getting interesting. And again, this kind of stuff affects large cap crypto. Just anecdotally off topic. Careful with crypto right now. Don't fall for the hype, because the equities market is going to pull back down. And when it does, eventually this is going to do some stuff like this and probably worse than that. And when that happens, large cap crypto is going to go with it. We all know that. So just careful. Off topic, but relevant at the same time. As of right now, this is pretty crappy price action. We'll look at this. My guess is there's going to be a red candle coming. My guess is going to be there's going to be some little pop down like this, and then it'll, kind of not really go anywhere. And we'll see if maybe we can go break that high sometime this week. That's a possibility. Could just be garbage price action, just more grind, but be careful about being long here. You may get a pullback into this at least. Just a spike down there and then pull back up. It's probably going to be grindy here. We'll watch it. It's not really much here to talk about, to be honest. I'm assuming that it's going to sell off. Next, NASDAQ. Trading the NASDAQ a lot lately. Boy, did we kill this last week. Holy cow, we crushed it. Look at there, coming off I think it was last Friday. Yeah, just absolutely nailed the bottom and nailed the top. We sent this thing, man. I got out a little early, but as far as our entries, our trades on it, man, we sent this and then caught it on the high. Like, people forget about this stuff sometimes. Like, really crushing this. It's lower risk. Just crushing the market. We're just right a lot, honestly. Like, it's just the truth. We're right a lot. Not all the time, but enough of the time to forget about the bad times. It's a risk management game. It all comes down to risk management. We get the entries. There is a nonstop flow of positive equity coming out of these trades. Like, it's just a nonstop flow of trades coming out of here. It's a risk management game. How close can we get without getting stopped out? Same thing on the NASDAQ, same structure, very grindy, messy move. This Powell candle was dirty, took everybody out, whether you were long or short. It's wrecked. Very grindy. We'll see what's going to happen here if we're running up. And we'll watch the dollar too. There's always that relationship between the dollar and the yen in the U.S. equities market. Try to figure out if the flows go into the yen or the dollar. See what's going on here. Watch the whole of market correlation. Whole of market approach is the right answer. Yeah, who knows, man. This kind of candle, I wouldn't trust this. Still got 3 hours left. Again, it would make sense that this pops down. Everybody's going to say, oh my God, it's going up, buy it. And then it does something like this. Boop, spikes down, slaps back up to some kind of hammer or something, and then messes around in a range. And, careful with this kind of stuff. There's all of a sudden you'll get a boom, a candle that looks like that. And you're like, well, that sucked. Then it'll end up back down here in these buyers. Supply, demand, whatever you want to call it. All the same thing. Yeah. It's not the best time to mess with it right now, but we'll watch it. The Dow, obviously very similar. Got an alert down here on the low. We'll adjust that. We'll adjust that level. Yeah, this kind of stuff is sketchy, man. I would be looking to short this, to be honest. This angled grind like that, very grindy. Look how small the bodies of these candles are. Very angled grind coming up into a dense level of consolidation here. This is just not it. Like, this is not a long. You would want to wait until it made it up to something like that before you sell it, but it wouldn't surprise me if this is just going to sell off. So be careful with it. We'll look at this on lower time frames. We'll watch our levels. Yeah. At or above the hash for sure, but this may not make it. Up there. We'll watch this. This could be a short today, actually, in equities. And then we need to figure out if the flows go into the yen or the dollar. We're going to look at all that in just a minute. The VIX, meh. We had this, man. We had it down here when it went under 13. We had it in the 12s, and it just took so long for it to actually pop. It just couldn't sit through it anymore. The swap's dirty on this one. But yeah, 30% move. I mean, 45% move. We had this. Like, we had it. This was the easiest trade on the chart. We talked about this for a long time. This was the easiest trade in the market. This was the most obvious trade, period, end of story, in the market. When this went under 13 and went into the 12s, it was the most obvious trade. We started getting into this like even earlier than that. I think when it broke this low, we started getting in down here, and it's just held. Eventually scaled into it, and it just took forever. It took weeks. It just wouldn't go. And then it finally popped. We're waiting for the market to sell off. So VIX, kind of nothing to do right now. I do like trading the VIX when it makes sense. When it's low, it's literally the easiest trade that you could possibly make. So just the easiest decision to make. Right now, blah. Kind of nothing to do there. It doesn't really help at the moment. Oil. God, man. Should have stayed in this last week. God, I had it down here on the bottom and jumped out of it like a doofus. Had it. We knew this was happening. Before this came down here, we called the range low. We knew this was going to happen. So crazy. Like bought it like right here, and this spike took me out on the stop, lower time frames, and it ended up holding, and now it's up. Now it's on the way. It's like, God, man. Took an unnecessary loss on this last week. It wasn't huge, but it was an unnecessary loss. It didn't need to happen. I was right about it, and it popped up, and I was like, man, I was mad about that. I remember I was throwing a hissy fit about oil last week because was right about the trade and just had a noise spike that took me out, and then it immediately goes up. I was like, man, you're kidding me. So yeah, right now, messy level here. I don't know what's going on fundamentally with this, with BRICS. It's kind of scary with the relationship with the US dollar and the BRICS stuff going on. But as far as supply and demand issue here, I don't know. Have to take a look at it. Love trading oil though. Yeah, a little bit higher there before I would heavily short it, but right now this doesn't exactly look great. You can clearly see the rejections here, and we'll have to see how this candle closes. As of right now, we're in the juice, so we'll watch this. May be worth watching it today. It would be completely normal for there to be a red candle coming. It's just kind of right in the middle of the range. Structurally, I mean, we'll come back to that. Gold, everybody's favorite, the poll winner. So we're going to be focusing more on this. So I know a lot of people trade gold. Put a poll in Discord. If you could only trade one instrument for a week, what would it be? And gold had more than double the next best. No, it doubled the next best answer. So more people were interested in gold than almost anything else, including stock market indices. So interesting information there. Interesting feedback. Was considering only trading gold for the week, but there's just so many other things that you don't want to miss. But we're going to focus on this one. We'll start focusing a little more. Obviously we trade gold every day, but literally every day. But as far as spending more time on it, it's obvious that a lot of people are interested in it. And for good reason. We trade it as a correlation instrument, with other stuff. What's the relationship between gold and the dollar and the yen versus the U.S. equities market and all of those types of things. But we generally trade trade gold counter to the dollar index. So we figure out what's going on with the dollar, and then we trade gold as a part of the basket. I don't know what this was. This alert, but we'll watch that. If it comes down and starts to break that low, we'll adjust that on lower time frames. Good morning, guys, in the chat. Just doing the 4-hour sweep, recording it for YouTube. I'm going to post it up, and then we're going to get into our strategy stuff. So good morning. Just trying to get the initial analysis out of the way. Good morning, guys. I see everybody in the chat there. Just had to flip over to it. Right now, pretty chill morning. Looks like the dollar's gaining, which makes sense. We're waiting to see if the dollar's going to pump. You can see gold kind of rolling over here. It wouldn't be surprising if this pulled down a little bit into some kind of consolidation. It's loosely, cycle low here, possible consolidation here. So if this comes down and just bounce inside of this range like that, we'll look at it when it gets lower. If the dollar's going to go strong, this is probably going to go just a little bit lower. However, structurally, gold's coming off of a lower low here. And as this pulls back, we probably want to get long. I'm assuming this is going to retest a little bit higher. It's already made the lift off the low and starting to go into a consolidation. It's just could be noisy here. If this were to come down something like that, I would be more interested in getting long, to be honest. Somewhere in or around this inflection point, possibly even down to here. We'll take a look at it. If this is going to come down, we'll take a look at where we should be getting in. And if the dollar is going to be bullish, this is probably going to be a short today. So that's something that we could probably take a look at. We'll leave it marked. So what's the general consensus here for the week? Just again, an objective, non-biased, preliminary look at the market just to see what's above us, what's below us. What are we looking at? Just so we're not flying blind here. When stuff starts to move and starts to happen, we know what we're looking at already. We're already waiting for levels. What's the general consensus here? Dollars up. We're entering our 7th week in a row to the upside on the dollar. That's going to start to present some opportunities, obviously, for reversals. Coming off of a lower low, retesting the high. We're going to watch this. If we spike up on the dollar here, there's probably going to be some reversal opportunities, lower risk. So we'll watch that and try to be careful with it. But as of right now, it feels like the dollar's going to try to pull up a little bit. Remember, we're probably distributing on a high here. It's going to be a consolidation up here, most likely. We'll see what we can do with that. The yen's at an interesting level. Got a possible higher low here soon. Trying to figure out where that might be. If this were to dip down a little bit, we're going to be looking to take positions on the yen. It'll probably be like pound yen short, euro yen short, Swiss yen. Swiss yen's coming off an all-time high. CAD yen has been paying out nicely lately, so we'll watch some of those. We'll just wait for our levels. We'll wait for levels to get hit. We're going to drill down into lower time frames with the range tool here in just a few minutes. Just trying to do the initial looky-loo here to see what's going on, see what we're looking at this week. Euro dollar, we already know what we're looking at. There's just a whole bunch of crap here to the upside. Kind of waiting on the dollar. See if this is going to break the low or not, or if it's going to pull back and bounce. Trying to figure out what to do with the dollar, and this will line up with the dollar. At the moment, really just waiting for the dollar to kind of distribute and then pull back from the high. There's going to be a lot of opportunities coming off of the US dollar on the high. Gold is going to be a thing, I'm assuming. And then how that plays with equities is really going to be the question. Is this going to be a lower high and sell off? Like, remember how high this is. And remember the relationship to large cap crypto as well, for the crypto folks in here. I'm really looking forward to get back in the crypto market when the time is right. Kind of missed it last time. Ended up selling early last time, which was fine. But I'd like to actually get back in on the bottom, in the panic. I'm gonna play the panic this time. Kind of wasn't really paying attention to it last time because I was doing so much other stuff, and admittedly missed an opportunity in crypto. I kind of missed the cycle bottom last time just because I wasn't watching it. It wasn't a thing. I was interested in other stuff at the time, but which is also healthy. So anyway, we're watching equities here. I think we're in a range. Keep an eye on this. I think we'll probably focus on that this week. Obviously where the dollar is. There's not really much to say at the moment. Oil's kind of at a weird spot. Got a lot of potential range highs and range lows right now. We're going to see if we're going to get some reversals. We'll see how this changes throughout the week. And obviously we'll adjust our bias and our targets as the week goes on. Feels choppy on the dollar. I would guess that it's going to retest a high. It's just not a good entry either. This is clearly just stopped right there, almost center mass, which is alarming on the dollar. Remember, we're entering our 7th week to the upside. We're going to have a downside bias. We're going to weight our bias to the downside on the dollar, try to sell the high of the day every day until the thing comes down. I think that's probably good enough on the analysis at the moment. This could, obviously this will change as the week goes on. It's just our preliminary look, just to see what's going on, see what we're looking at above us and below us. We'll take another look at this as the week goes on, see how much of this is right, how much of this is wrong. We generally do pretty good on this stuff. Not a lot of information yet. We got a lot of consolidations happening. But a lot of these consolidations are happening at major structural levels, especially on things like the dollar. And there's a big question mark on the U.S. equities market right now, especially after Powell the other day. I don't know. We'll take a look. We'll drill down into lower time frames here. Everybody on YouTube, have a good trading week, and probably pop back in later in the week.